Okay, Ag Mechanics, it's December the 1st. I sent you an email in Canvas explaining everything that we had to do today. We are kind of jumping around a little bit, so just to clarify, um, we do have a little review, and then we also have a tool ID that we went over today as well. So in our modules today, the first thing that we did was go over our tool identification. So if you scroll down to electricity, it's the electrical tools ID. We're going to click on that. And once we open this up, what we did is we went over the PowerPoint. You can either open your own copy or you can click through the actual slides that are embedded. We just went through and looked at some of these. Most of these are a review from some tools that we've done earlier. And then we have some specific electrical stuff. So we have the bent nose pliers. You're not necessarily going to need to know the definition for our quiz, but you will need to know the actual tool itself. So then we have some diagonal cutters. We know we cut wires with those. We've already had that tool. We've already had long nose pliers. So we know we reach into recessed areas. I put this in the electrical tools because a lot of people like to use these for wiring, to go ahead and grab wire and pull it through the boxes, and put that little loop on the end. So they're a pretty handy tool to have. And then we have our side cutting pliers. I know we've had these already as well, but we know we use these to hold and cut wire. Okay. Then we have wire strippers. Wire strippers, there's different types that are out there. The whole purpose of wire strippers is to remove insulation from wire. And then you can also crimp wire with these and cut wire with these. There's a lot of different things you can do with wire strippers, right? This is an electrical multimeter. It does a lot more than just test volts. You can test resistance. You can do alternating current, direct current, amps. There's a lot of different things you can do. So it's a pretty good tool to have in your tool bag, right? This is an example of an electrical box. Anywhere that you have exposed wire, you need to have an electrical box. So what that does is help prevent a fire. So that's an electrical box. Most people call these a wireless nut or a wire nut. For what we need to know them as is a solderless wire nut, because they are temporary, since you can untwist them and twist them on. So a solderless wire nut. Once again, circuit breaker. We had this in our notes the other day. We know a circuit breaker is going to prevent a current from overloading. These are a fuse puller. You would use these on those small little itsy bitsy fuses like you have in your card where you can't get your fingers in there to them. So those come in handy as well. This is called a duplex receptacle. Most people call it an outlet, but it's technically a duplex receptacle because there's a space for two plugs. And then we also went over this. We talked about it yesterday. So this is our GFCI, which is our ground fault circuit interrupter. So it's got the little mini fuse built on the inside of this. It's got its own little breaker on the inside. So if too much current starts being drawn through here, it's going to automatically trip and stop that current from flowing. You have to use these in wet locations, and that's going to help you prevent you from getting electrocuted. And then this is a single pole switch, also referred to as a two-way switch. You don't ever count this little green screw up here. That's for the ground. I mean, what you're looking at is the actual number of terminals. So you have two terminals on the side. So that makes it a two-way switch or a single pole switch in which you turn a light on and off from one location. And then on our three-way switch, you can see the difference. We have one terminal, two terminal, three terminals. And so this allows you to turn a light on and off from two locations. And that's all we have on our tool ID. So that was pretty much it for that. Okay. So you need to go ahead and scroll through the tool ID, make sure that you understand that. And then right below that tool ID, there was a review quiz, okay, or term quiz. Okay, so this is just about the terms that we talked yesterday. So you need to open this up. And when you do, what you're going to see is that there's only 10 matching items on here. It's very simple. So all you do is you just choose the right one for each one. Don't use the same thing more than once. There's only one right answer. you're only going to use each one of these terms one time. All right, so make sure you only use it once, pay attention, and be careful about that. And when you're done, go ahead and submit your quiz. Right, so that is that portion of the notes, and the video for the account setup I'm going to post separately. So this is our actual class today, and then once you get done with this, you need to go ahead and set up your account on Homestyler. And if you watched a video on that, I think it's probably going to help you out a little bit better than actually following your directions step by step on Canvas. If you have any questions, email me, and I will see y'all in class tomorrow.